Sup guys, it's your boy Justin with a new movie review. Today I'm reviewing all three Fantastic Beasts movies, right? I did this review on like Sunday. It was gonna upload it, but it was the thing where the video was like I had problems processing the video on my end, not on YouTube. My video editor was being a piece of crap. And then it was the thing where, I went to try to upload it today, where my video editor was actually working today. But it was the thing where, like, you know, the video was like 45 minutes, and then because of the subject matter of the film, you know, I made some edgy jokes, and I'm like, do I want to risk it? And I'm a coward, so no, I'm not going to risk it. So I'm going to do all three reviews again, right? You're going to get the nerfed down version. I apologize, but it's like, yeah, it's like, damn it, JK, you had to insert. You had to insert 2015, 2016 politics in your new Harry Potter movies, right? So yeah, today we're reviewing all three Fantastic Beasts movies. I'm probably going to spoil all the third one, but the first two I'm not going to spoil too much. So there's going to be timestamps. So I'm going to try not to spoil the individual films, but obviously when I talk about the next film in the franchise, there's going to be spoilers for the previous film. So if you don't want to get spoiled on whatever movie you didn't watch, make sure to watch the movies first before you watch the reviews, right? So, but if you watch the first movie, you're going to be okay to watch the second movie, but I'm going to spoil the next movie, is what I'm trying to say, right? So yeah, and I'm probably going to spoil the third movie, because the third movie sucked. So yeah, we're starting with the first film, which is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which came out 2016, directed by David Yates, and written by J.K. Rowling. Right, starring Eddie Redmayne, and I forget the other actors. There's Dan Fogler, Jude Law joins the cast, you know. Yeah, so like the movie is a spin-off of the Harry Potter franchise, and the movie's about the author of the famous book from the Harry Potter franchise, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, right? Which the movie's about Newt Scamander, who is a World War One vet. Apparently, the wizards did fight in World War One. That was one of the more interesting things of the movie, and it makes me wonder if Kurt Busiek. I would need to find out if when Kurt Busiek's comic book came out, because he did a comic book for Image called Aerosmith, which was basically World War One with wizards and fantasy creatures. So I kind of wonder did he rip off J.K. Rowling? I don't know. I just want to shout out to Darkside his comics. He did reviews for those Aerosmith comics, so check out those reviews if you're into comics. All right. Yeah. So the movie is about Newt Scamander, who's a magic zoologist, right? Who travels around the world with a magic briefcase, capturing fantastic beasts to study them, so he can one day write a book on fantastic beasts and where to find them and how to take care of them, right? And you know, that's probably what wouldn't be a good, probably won't backfire on him, because one of the things he says he's doing the book is to protect the fantastic beasts from poachers, but you have a how-to book on how to like basically catch them, right? So yeah, the movie's about takes place in 1926 New York, where Newt Scamander goes to New York on fake pretenses, because spoiler alert, you find out in the second movie that he was sent there by Albus Dumbledore, who's played by Jude Law, right? This trilogy of movies are basically Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, but in the Harry Potter franchise. Okay, so he goes there to New York, right? On fake pretenses, and meets up with this non-magical person. What was his name? His name was Jacob Kowalski, who was played by Dan Fogler, right? Who's at the bank where they met. They met at a bank, and he's there to get a loan for his bakery, right? So he can open a bank and quit his job at the factory where he cans food, right? They have a mix-up where they bump into each other, and they accidentally switch briefcases, right? And when that happens, Dan Fogler's character, Jacob Kowalski, accidentally opens the case and releases several of Newt Scamander's Fantastic Beasts, right? One of them was like an invisible monster. One was like a dragon bird. One was like a furry duck face creature that likes to steal things and has a bottomless pouch on his tummy where he can store jewels and coins and whatnot. He's called a niffler because he likes to nift things, which is British slang for stealing, right? So it's like you could tell by the naming. It's basically the same naming convention that J.K. put into the spells. She put into like the creatures, right? You even have like a Thunderbird and a weird rhinoceros creature, right? In the movie, right? So like the movie is basically Newt Scamander running around New York with his non-magical friend Jacob Kowalski, right? Recapturing the Fantastic Beasts, and while all that's going on, you have this magic cop called Tina Goldstein and her mind-reading sister, who both kind of fall in love with our main characters. And at first, like, Tina wants to arrest our main character so she can get her job back at the American Horror Office, which the Horrors are basically magic cops, right? But that gets all sidelined when an evil cop character called Graves, who's played by a really cool Colin Farrell, right? Who's trying to capture an Obscura, which is a magical creature that's born from wizarding children who never learn to harness their powers. So it creates this black mass monster that's going around causing destruction in New York, and the wizarding world is about to be exposed. So it's up to our heroes to team up to stop the Obscura and stop the evil magic cop character played by Colin Farrell, right? So I really enjoyed this movie, the first film, right, in the Fantastic Beasts franchise, because it was like a new take on the Harry Potter franchise, where it wasn't basically about against good and evil. It wasn't like we're watching a kid on his heroic journey. It was basically we're just having a fun adventure, basically playing Harry Potter Pokemon Go, which I totally think they should have. It was a missed opportunity for them not to make a Fantastic Beasts game where you're basically a monster capture or monster tamer game in the Harry Potter franchise. They should still fucking do that, right? I really enjoyed the movie. my one complaint with the movie is that you have the reveal at the end of the movie, and it turns out, oh yeah, there's a big bad dark wizard that our characters have to stop, right? So it's like, wow, you went away from the fantasy, like the fantasy trope of we have to, stop the big bad, to let's have a fun adventure in this wacky fantasy world, and you went back to that, same motif, right? So it's like, wow, that sucked. I would have loved to basically, they should have just had like this franchise be like basically Pokemon, but with Harry Potter, right? Where you have our characters going around meeting cool fantasy creatures and stopping them from being poached by magic poachers, right? That would have been a lot cooler than what they did. But overall, I enjoyed this first film, and I would give it a 7 out of 10. Okay, now we're reviewing the second film in the franchise, which is the Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, which came out in 2018, and it stars Johnny Depp as what was his name? Gellert Grindelwald, who is an evil dark wizard that wants to start a revolution and basically lead the wizarding world in a war against the non-magical people, which is called the Muggles. Right? And in the first film, right, it was revealed that he was Colin Farrell's character, right? Where he gets captured by the New York Horrors at the end of that movie with the help of New Scamander, who blindsides him. Which, that was a very epic fight, where like you had like Colin Farrell one-handedly magic fighting all those dozens of wizards, right? So that sucked that they replaced them with Johnny Depp. But Johnny Depp actually did a very good job as Gellert Grindelwald. He was very charismatic with the character, and he was funny, right? But yeah, unfortunately, you had like J.K. Rowling spoiled the twists of these movies, and basically spoiled the fact that everybody probably knows is that, like, she spoiled that Gellert Grindelwald and then Dumbledore had a romantic relationship, right? Which it was kind of in the first film, like the first two films, it was subtle. They were subtle about it. Well, not so much in the flashbacks, but they were kind of subtle to the point where, like, Gellert Grindelwald's character has a beard in the film, right? He's a hot French chick, right? So the premise of this movie is that Gellert Grindelwald has escaped from New York and is now in Paris, where he's trying to find Ezra Miller's character, Credence Barebone, who turned out to be the Obscura in the first film, right? And he's in Paris, trying to find out the origins, his family origins, right, and who he is, right, with the help of his Vietnamese hot waifu, right, who can turn into a snake. Where they met at a carnival, right? While that's going on, Tina Goldstein is after Credence, and our main character, New Scamander, is also after Credence, by he's after Tina, who he was told that she was in danger by Albus Dumbledore, who's played by Jude Law, right? Who's basically like a spy master in the movie, who's manipulating events to have New Scamander go after Gellert Grindelwald, because he directly cannot have a magic battle with him, because him and Gellert had a blood oath when they were young, right? And also Jacob, and there's a subplot where Jacob and Tina were in a romantic relationship, but are having like a fight. Having a fight because Jacob won't man up and marry Queenie because because it's illegal for non-magic people to marry wizards in New York, right? So this leads for Gellert Grindelwald to recruit Queenie into his Dark Wizards Club, right? Like I said in my first review, right? Sorry, my review for Fantastic Beasts. This movie was very much inspired by 2015-2016 politics, right? Oh my god. Right. And it's very obvious that what the Dark Wizards are an allegory for, which they in the movie Gellert Grindelwald's is very smart in the movie where he's like, no, let's not tell people our actual plan. We'll just pretend to be libertarians. We want freedom. So it's like, what the fuck? So yeah. While you have this spy thriller going on, you have a love triangle between Newt Scamander, his brother, and his old flame, Lita Lestrange, which is played by Zoe Kravitz, right? And his brother and his sister-in-law are in the the British Ministry, which is the Magic Cops, right? So everything converges at the end of the movie, where all of our characters meet up at this Dark Wizards rally, where Gellert Grindelwald gives a speech, right? Right, where the speech was actually kind of funny because it very much confused the crowd, right? Because at first he's like, because it's a crowd full of purebloods, right? We know what that means, right? And he's giving this speech like, oh, it's like the ministry has been lying about me. I don't hate the Muggles. I don't hate the Muggles. The no-mages, the non-wizarding folk. He's just saying every slur against the normal people, right? And he goes on they're not of lesser value, but of different value, right? Right. Right. And he's he reveals the actual reason why he actually wants to unite the wizarding community against the non-wizards, because he has an ability to see into the future and glimpses, and he basically sees World War II, and he shows the whole crowd the visions of World War II, including the atomic bombs in Japan, right? Which there was a random Japanese actor in the movie. I think it was Gackett? I'm not sure, right? Which I was very confused about him, because it's spoiler alert, he killed Johnny Depp kills him for no reason. Right? Which Johnny Depp kills a lot of people for no reason, right? He kills a kid, he kills his pet lizard who helped him escape from from New York, right? What an asshole. Right? Kills a lot of people. And I love how one of his henchmen had to take his place and lost his tongue, and he uses his magic to grow back the dude's tongue, but it's like a snake tongue. It's forked, so it's dude, what the fuck? Sorry. And there's this badass climax in the end of the movie where he uses his wand to create an Azura flame wall, right? To kill off random ministers, right? Ministry men, and create an escape for his loyal followers, right? Including Queenie, who even Which we need. Well, we're gonna talk about Queenie when we review the third movie, right? And there's a badass climax that after everybody escapes, he says this one great line. I hate Paris. It vanishes, and his Asura flame wall turns into multiple fucking blue flaming dragons that's going to scorch fucking Paris, and our characters obviously stop it. So I didn't like the political messagings in the movie where they're basically like, it's very much like, you know, like, what the fuck? We couldn't just have like a fun adventure movie. We have to have, like, you know, this bullshit. Right, but overall I liked the movie, and Johnny Depp did a great job as the villain. Right, he was very charismatic, he was funny, right, and he was threatening, right? And like, you really got a sense of his power level when he, like, you know, with those massive fucking flame dragons, right? Though I wonder, because in the third movie we find out that, because it's the thing, we know that he's lying, right? When he says that he doesn't hate Muggles, and he's able to recruit Queenie, who's a mind reader, right? Because he wants her because of her mind reading ability. How is it that, you know, she doesn't know he's full of shit, right? So yeah, that was bullshit. But overall, I enjoyed the film, and I'm giving it. I think I'll change my rating from a 6 to a 6.5, right? Yeah. So now we're gonna review the last movie in the franchise, which is The Secrets of Dumbledore, right? And I don't know if this movie is going to, if we're gonna get more of these movies, because I heard these movies bombed, right? Which you think it would, considering the movie came out 2022 during the Ezra Miller fucking fiasco, right? Which Ezra Miller, I would say, was pretty badass in the film. Actually, he finally gets his wizard wand, and he's a badass now, right? But despite having the wizard wand, he's still getting killed by the Obscura, which makes no fucking sense, right? And we find out that he's a Dumbledore, but he's not Dumbledore's brother, but he's his nephew, right? Which is like, oh, so lame, right? And in this movie, they finally reveal that Dumbledore was actually in a romantic relationship with Gellert Grindelwald, which we already knew thanks to J.K. Rowling, who wanted the virtue signal, right? How progressive she was. Didn't she spoil that, like, when the fucking first movie came out? Like, holy fuck! Warner Brothers was not happy with her then. So yeah, they recasted Gellert Grindelwald again with Mads Mikkelsen, right? Which Mads Mikkelsen sucked in the fucking movie. He's a great actor. I love him. Don't get me wrong, but he was basically playing Hannibal, right? And he didn't even he had the weird eye contact, but it wasn't as noticeable compared to the first movie. And he doesn't even change. His hair is his normal hair. He didn't change it. He didn't bleach it. He didn't spike it up like Grindelwald had it in the second movie. Which, Colin Farrell's hairstyle in the first movie was similar to Grindelwald's. The only difference was Grindelwald's was more spiked up. They totally should have fucking just got Colin Farrell back, right? They should have just gotten Colin Farrell back and just put the prosthetics or whatever on him, right? He did it as Penguin in that shitty Batman movie. I'm sorry, I hated that Batman movie. The guy the director admitted he only read 5 Batman graphic novels, and we're acting like that's the best Batman movie of all time. Fuck off with that bullshit. The story of this movie, right, is Grindelwald. There's an election going on for the new president of the fucking wizarding world or whatever, and Grindelwald is colluding with the German ministry, which this movie takes place in mostly Berlin, right? And he colluded with the German ministry, the head of the German ministry is the dad from Dark, that Netflix German TV show. Which, if you haven't watched that TV show, it was good, but it gets pretty bad at the end of the show. So it's still worth watching, I guess. And they capture this. They capture and kill a baby golden deer, which is called a qilin, who is a Chinese fantastic beast that used to be used to pick the kings and queens or leaders of the wizarding world, right? Even though they have elections now, they're just going to say, fuck it, let's have the qilin pick who's going to be the most, who should be the leader of the wizarding world. And it's up to Dumbledore and his team to stop Grindelwald. And who did they leave out of the team? They leave out Tina Goldstein, who's the romantic, what's the word? Interest of Newt Scamander. She gets sidelined in the movie for what reason? Who the fuck knows? She is in the movie, but she has a very small role, right? And she gets replaced with another magic zoologist, right? Which is like, what the fuck? Right? Yeah, that sucked. Another thing that sucked about the movie is that, the last movie ended with Grindelwald killing Leta Lestrange, which was the fiance of Theseus Scamander, who was supposed to be the older brother of Newt, even though he looks way younger than Newt, and he's supposed to be this badass war hero, but doesn't come off badass in any of these movies, right? Which he was only in the second and third one, right? So that sucked. And you would think that him and Newt would have this hate vengeance boner for Grindelwald. He doesn't. They don't, which is like, wow, dude. And these movies are already pretty dark for what are supposed to be kids movies, even though these movies were obviously meant for, like, for grown-up Harry Potter fans. Hence why you have you have adult protagonists as the leads for these movies, but they still want the family money, so they have these movies PG-13, even though there's lots of death in these movies, right? Which, like I said in my second review, they killed kids and they killed cute animals, right? They kill a fucking deer in this movie. They killed the lizard, the cute lizard, whose only fucking crime was he was too clingy. It was like, fuck. So yeah, and then this movie had a very weak climax compared to the other movies, to the point where, like, in the other movies, Grindelwald looked pretty strong, right? Here, he gets into a short fight with Dumbledore, right? And then fucks off. He's like, I was never your enemy, right? And then fucks off. Right. So it's like, fuck, that was so lame. Right, and they finally decide to, I guess, kill off Ezra Miller's character for whatever reason. I mean, we know what reason, but it's like, dude, like, it made no sense that, like, he was able to live so long with the Obscura that now, and that it actually it for some reason it randomly starts killing him now. It's like, what the fuck? Even though the whole point was that Obscuras kill the host because they never learned to control his magic. He becomes a badass wizard in this movie, right? Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I did not enjoy this movie. I thought it was the weakest of the weakest of all three of the Fantastic Beasts movies. And yeah, I think it was a mistake to wait 4 years to release this, to make this movie, because one of the actresses in the movie, Queenie, who was hot in the first film, hot in the second film, she hit the wall in this movie and she was almost unrecognizable. Something happened to her eyelids or something that made her unrecognizable, man. I was like, what the fuck? Is that Queenie? Oh my god. So that, yeah, that sucked. Yeah, the only good scene in the movie was the prison escape, where, like, you know, where Newt and Teddy the Niffler and Pick the whatever he's supposed to be, which is like a small plant creature that Newt keeps in his pocket, who can pick locks. Hence why he's called Pick. Right? Go and rescue his Theseus from the German, you know, underground prison that's filled with scorpion monsters, right? A bunch of baby scorpion monsters and a very big scorpion monster, which you only see the tail of, right? Which if it stings you, it's like getting killed by the blob, right? It turns your it melts all your organs and like leaves goop on your skeleton for the baby scorpions to slurp up, right? That was like the only scene in the movie I actually liked. This movie sucked. And then there was the whole thing in the movie where they give Jacob Kowalski's character a fake wand that he shows off to the kids at Hogwarts, right? And gets bullied. He gets bullied by the Slytherin kids. Well, pranked by the Slytherin kids, not bullied, right? And I thought at some point they should have done a thing where the fucking wand was enchanted, right? And that, you know, Grindelwald was going to think that, oh, it's a fake wand, he's harmless, and then he actually gets a free shot at him, right? Because non-wizarding people can actually use enchanted items. We've seen that in the Harry Potter movies, right? Because, like, there was lots of times when Hagrid used enchanted items and he can't use magic, right? So they should have, the wand should have been preloaded with like magic spells or something, right? Because like it's like, because he was only given a wand in the movie to I guess confuse Grindelwald, even though at no point did Grindelwald was confused, right? They would have gotten a free shot at him if they actually had enchanted it or something, which is fucking shit. Or made a thing where it was actually, they took a gun, made it look like a wand, and then like he actually shoots it at him or whatever. Yeah. And Grindelwald was kind of an idiot in this movie, because he was kind of clever in the second movie, right? How he makes his, like, you know, his people look like the victims, right? When one of them gets killed by the Ministry at the rally, right? Here he just like when he gets his announced as the next Wizard King, right? Which, you know, that didn't last very long. He's like, yeah, let's all go to the war with the Muggles and let's kill the Dan Fogler's character, because he wants to have babies with the witch, right? So it's like, wow, dude, didn't you say in the second movie that, yeah, we need to just pretend like, you know, we just want freedom? Like it's like these characters are so dumb, because like if he really wanted to achieve his goals. All he would need to do is do like a couple, you know, like basically all you would have to do is instigate, fights between non-magic people and then against wizards, right? Manipulate defense a bit, so to start a war. He doesn't need, for some reason, he thinks that he needs to become king of the wizarding world before he could start a war between the non-magic people and the wizards, right? You don't. All you need to do is expose the wizards to the humans, blame the wizards, like have humans attack wizards, blame them for shit, right? And then you can start the war. But like the main character, for some reason, he has this retarded idea in his head that he needs to become king first, leader of the wizarding community, before he can actually do his plan. It's so dumb. Yeah, so 5 out of 10. Fuck this movie. This movie sucked. They need to either bring back Johnny Depp or bring back Colin Farrell for the next movie. If there is even a next movie, who knows? Peace.